you, my friend. All righty, folks. Guess what? It's 4 o'clock. Very, very quickly, Dow Jones down 262, S&P to 18, nothing. Nasdaq down a little bit. Oil was down. That good news. Crypto was hovering a little bit around unchanged. Just want to get that through because we have a lot to get to. You probably heard the name George Soros, right? He's that billionaire, but their left's favorite billionaire, puppet master. He funds radical prosecutors, woke politicians, and the media networks that protect them. But here's a name you may not have heard. David E. Shaw, D.E. Shaw. David Shaw is a Wall Street billionaire, founder of a hedge fund called D.E. Shaw and Company, and one of the biggest Democrat donors in America. He's poured nearly every penny of his political money into the left, straight to Democrats, their PACs, and their causes. And just like Soros, he hides behind a mask of morality. Shaw's firm became the poster child of DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion. They preached values, core principles, pronouns, you name it. They were behind it. But behind the scenes, a very different story. While they're lecturing the rest of us about morality and equality, D.E. Shaw was forcing women and minority employees working for him to sign away their rights, their civil rights, just to collect paychecks for work they already did. They literally made people sign releases promising never to file claims of harassment or discrimination to get their paycheck that they've already earned. Then when reporters started digging, evidence started disappearing. Journalists caught portions of their website being deleted. And when the heat hit the boss himself, D.E. Shaw, the man, David, his COO, Chief Operating Officer, turned around and fired his own black female head of DEI, the woman he hired to make the firm look inclusive, and tried to pin the whole mess on her. That's not diversity, that's deception. It gets worse. There's a pattern. The SEC already fined D.E. Shaw for violating whistleblower protections. A court found them liable for defamation, for scapegoating an employee during the Me Too era. And David Shaw's companies have a history of being sued for sexual harassment. And yet, through it all, the Biden Department of Justice hadn't lifted a finger. No raids, no subpoenas, no investigations, no lawfare, nada, nothing, zilch. Because remember, this guy was their guy, a Democrat. Not only a Democrat, a megadonor. Part of the same elite club that funds the machine, keeping those folks in power on the left while they weaponize government against conservatives, Donald Trump and others. Think of Roger Stone. Think of Steve Bannon. Think of Pete Navarro. Well, they give free passes to their billionaire banker friends bankrolling their own agenda, D.E. Shaw. If David E. Shaw were a Trump donor, the headlines would already be screaming. But because he's on their side, the system stays silent. That's the real face of power in America. And it's time we start calling that out. All right, let's bring in our first guest, the political strategist, campaign advisor, who was a Democrat, but made the switch to the Republican Party because she got smart. She figured it out, folks, and she now fights against the evilness of the Democrats. She's a co-host on the Her Take podcast with the PBD, great podcast group. Happy to welcome back my friend, Lindy Lee. Lindy, we have so much to talk about, but since the president took the whole 4 o'clock hour yesterday with a great topic, I mean, Antifa, terrorist organization or not, I would say absolutely. And we saw a bunch of young citizen, young gun journalists, some of them with bruises. A young lady had a black eye, talking about how when they go to work, they might get hurt. They might get beat up. They might get assaulted. They might die. And they pointed to the legacy media in the back of the room. And the setup was beautiful, how the citizen journalists are up front and the legacy media is in the back. And they said, you guys don't have to know what we have to know before we go out and try and cover stories. It was just phenomenal. Lindy, let's talk a little Antifa, shall we? How in the world is Antifa still allowed to operate in this country?
Eric, it's so good to be with you. The reason why these still exist is that the left tells us, oh, it's just a political movement. It's not an actual entity. But no, these people are actually extremists. They're actually terrorists. And I can't forget that night, Eric, I don't know if you remember, on CNN, they had a chyron at the bottom and it said, mostly peaceful protests. Meanwhile, the city was on fire and people were overturning police cars and assaulting citizens and police. Antifa is a terrorist organization. It's not even a question anymore. I don't even know why we're allowing for that discussion. I live here in Philadelphia. They set my street on fire over George Floyd. They held him up to be their Messiah.
So not only was mostly peaceful as a CNN chyron with the building burning literally behind it, Ali Velshi was on MSNBC around the same time, maybe within the same week. Another city, I'm not sure if it was Minneapolis or not, another city burning. And the guy, Ali Velshi, while he's on camera saying this is a peaceful protest, literally saying it, gets shot in the leg with a rubber bullet. Shot in the leg. Peaceful. But what we've now found out, and what Trump pointed out yesterday, and this is important, that Antifa has been funded by radical forces. He kept trying to get the kids to say Soros. He didn't really name a name, but radical outsiders funding this. I think we can shut them down, call them terrorist organization. Any damage they do, any violence they do, we can up the penalties, right?
Right. And you talk about Soros, and I think that's an extremely important point because Soros always tries to have a measure of plausible deniability by donating through a series of shell organizations. So he can say, oh, I had nothing to do with it. But where do you think the billions are coming from? George Soros is single-handedly the biggest donor on the left. He has his hand in everything. The better question to ask, in fact, is who is he not donating to? That's a much shorter list.
Well, he famously, Krasner was your district attorney in Philadelphia,
yes,
wildly liberal, let out hardened criminals, almost to the detriment of the citizens of Philadelphia. And yet Philadelphia is still a wildly liberal city and continues to elect liberal Democrats up and down the ticket.
Yeah, unfortunately, I mean, I'll probably get in trouble for saying this, but he depends on those people. He depends on those. That's his demographic. He depends on them for votes. That's who his supporter base is, and he understands that. And it's really disheartening to see the birthplace of America descend into such chaos because under his tenure, that's what it's become. You can't go outside without having to be worried about getting shot. That's Philadelphia for you. And I mean, this is not the Philadelphia that I was raised in the suburbs, but Pennsylvania, I mean, Pennsylvania is deeply nestled in my heart, and it breaks my heart to see everything disintegrate under progressive leadership. And it's not just Larry Krasner, by the way, it's our mayor as well. Criminal justice reform basically means let everybody out of jail.
You wonder if Trump's going to send some National Guard to the city of Philadelphia.
Hey, I wouldn't mind. I'd actually feel safer.
The thing is, I'm not even sure. Listen, I'm a libertarian. I don't really like the idea of federal law enforcement in our cities and in our state. I just don't, it just rubs me the wrong way as a libertarian. But I love the way Trump does a lot of things, not necessarily for what the end results may be, but a lot of things to get inside the liberals' heads. I mean, they literally go apoplectic about J.B. Pritzker in Illinois, Gavin Newsom in California, and every single talking head from Joy Reid to Jim Acosta to Simone Sanders. They just it ups their Trump derangement syndrome feelings and animosity towards Trump, and you gotta love it.
Yeah, I call them the woke brigade because they get angry at whatever he does. It's just orange man bad. If Trump does something, they automatically hate it. And don't even get me started on Joy Reid. Her entire career was built on racial grievance and how everything is terrible for Black people. That's her entire shtick. And and MSNBC got tired of her.
Let's stay on Joy for a second because she made a comment about J.D. Vance getting into Yale because he was white. Joy Reid is a Harvard graduate, and Harvard is one of the prime examples of when conservatives went to the Supreme Court and fought to eliminate affirmative action, which means allowing minorities to get into colleges that they normally couldn't get into simply because they're meeting a quota or the college wants that diversification rather than allowing the meritocracy to take over. Joy Reid, I'm guessing, is a baby product,
she said so. She admitted it, Eric.
Affirmative action.
You're right. She said so with her own mouth. She said, I wouldn't be at Harvard. I wouldn't for affirmative action. She admitted it. This is not our conjecture. She said it herself.
So she's got some cojones.
And I do want to say, the Supreme Court case, I want to.
Go ahead.
I want to make sure that viewers understand this. It's not every demographic. It's whites and Asians. Okay? Because whites and Asians score better than any other demographic on test scores.
I think
in
Asians
terms of getting
score
good
higher
grades.
than I think
So the
Asians
people
score
who are
higher
most
than whites,
harmed
right?
by affirmative action.
Am I right? Asians score the highest.
Yeah, but whites and Asians just score better than everyone, is what I'm saying.
Right. And so the ones
so
who
we
are
are most
hurt
hurt by
are
it.
Asians and whites. Right. Go ahead.
I'm just saying that it's incredibly unfair that so many kids, they work hard, but they are discriminated against simply because they're white or Asian and they can't get into their dream school. I mean, this is not important anymore, but I didn't get into Harvard. I had a 2390 SAT score, which is essentially perfect. I got waitlisted at Harvard, which devastated me at the time. I don't really care anymore. But I'm just saying it didn't make any sense when people with lower test scores and resumes that weren't as strong, they easily got in because, I mean,
yeah. No,
your guess is as good as mine.
Yeah,
so.
well, we know what it is. We absolutely know it is. But somehow the white male, conservative white male, straight male, is at the bottom of the social totem pole. At least certainly was up until
that angers me so
January
much
2025.
because, as I said to you, Eric, I've said to you this offline, and I'll say it again on air: white men are the blank. I'm a huge fan, and I'm so sick and tired of society trashing white.
Well, that's one woman's opinion. Well,
it's got to stop.
It's one woman's
because
opinion.
White men are fantastic.
Since we're on race, the census has historically counted minorities, illegal minorities, in the count. And Trump is trying to say, let's do another census. It's not supposed to happen. Just let's do it off year. Every 10 years, we're supposed to take the census. But he says, because of the way it's been faultily administered, that we need to do it over. I think it's a great idea. And it'll also, the resources, so America has a certain amount of resources to spend, right? It's our budget. And we send it out to the states and we send it out to the districts and the municipalities based on the demographics, and that's all based on the census. So if you have bad info going in, garbage out, meaning illegals are skewing the resource allocation. That's my take. What's your take?
Erica, I think you're spot on. And I've looked into this because I am a legal immigrant. My family waited years to come here. We've contributed so much to this country, created hundreds of American jobs. We followed every rule. But then you have people storming across the border, completely desecrating every policy, every law of this country. And let's take California, for example. They would lose 2 to 3 congressional seats if illegals weren't counted. This isn't
Maybe
me
more.
saying it.
Maybe
this
more,
is liberal think
Lindy.
tanks doing
Maybe
the
more.
math.
Bannon will tell you 5. Bannon will tell you California would lose 5, both Florida. Or Governor DeSantis said we would pick up 2 in Florida and at least 2 in Texas. Lindy, I got to go. Love having you on. And I think Asian people are the blank also. What do you think of that?
Oh, that's so nice. Thank you. That means a lot to me.
Love having you on, my friend. Thank you, Lindy Lee, as always.
Thank you so much, Eric.
Keep killing it on that show, Her Take. We love it. We love
thank
PDB
you.
over here. Thank you.
Thank
All right,
you.
guys. I realize there are many choices when it comes to who you choose for your cell phone service, and there are new ones popping up all the time. But here's the truth. There's only one that stands boldly in the gap for every American that believes that freedom is worth fighting for, and that's Patriot Mobile. For more than 12 years, Patriot Mobile has been on the front lines fighting for our God-given rights and freedoms while also providing exceptional nationwide cell phone service with access to all 3 of the main networks. Don't just take my word for it. Ask the hundreds of thousands of Americans who've made the switch and are now supporting causes they believe in simply by joining Patriot Mobile. Switching is easier than ever. Activate in minutes from the comfort of your own home. Keep your number, keep your phone, or upgrade. Patriot Mobile's all U.S. support-based team, all of them in the United States, standing by to take care of you. Call this number, folks, 972-PATRIOT, 972-PATRIOT today. Call there or go to patriotmobile.com/RAV. Use that promo code RAV, R-A-V, for a free month of service. That's right. They'll give you a free month just for using that promo code. That's patriotmobile.com/RAV or call 972-PATRIOT. Make the switch today. All right. Big edge just dropped 2 hours ago. Here's a little piece of the Wolf of Wall Street, Jordan Belfort, telling us about the movie and how close the movie was to his actual life. There's that infamous scene of you coming out of I believe the country club, and you're high.
100% accurate.
Yeah, and you see your Ferrari or Lambo, and you're trying to figure out how to get to it, and you're trying to figure out, and then you just kind of use the trees and the walls as bumpers on the way. Phenomenal scene, creative license. You say it's accurate.
No, well, the only thing that's not accurate is that it was a Mercedes, not a Lamborghini. Everything else is 100% accurate.
All right. So wait. So okay. Now you're in the middle of all this, and life is coming at you fast and hard, right? Was there a moment where you realized that the empire may be collapsing? And then what I really want to know is, how did your body react to it? I know you get panicky in your mind, but how did was there a physical reaction with your body?
Well, I mean, I think I was, I was like a human petri dish. I was doing massive quantities of drugs, but then I got sober in 97, right? And then when I got sober, it was like the first time I really looked at what had happened.
It's a fascinating 35-minute interview. You got to see the whole thing. There's a screen right now. Just take your phone, open your phone up, open the camera up, put your phone camera right towards that QR code and hit the yellow line on there. It'll take you right to subscribe. And I will tell you what, subscribe now. You will not be disappointed. Free, never costs you a penny. Must subscribe to see it all, though. Be right back.